I woke up to the sound of something tapping on glass last night. My eyes snapped open and I stared at the dark ceiling, trying to orient myself. The tapping continued, steady and rhythmic, like a metronome ticking away in the silence. I sat up, squinting at the dim light filtering through my curtains, and listened intently. My first thought was that something was outside my window. My heart pounded in my chest as I continued to look. The window was closed, the curtains drawn, and nothing seemed out of place. Yet the tapping persisted, growing louder and more insistent. I threw off my blanket and swung my legs over the side of the bed, feeling the cold floor beneath my feet. Goosebumps prickled my skin as I crept toward the window. The tapping seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, echoing off the walls in a way that made it difficult to pinpoint its source. I reached the window, hesitating before pulling back the curtain. My breath fogged the glass as I peered out into the night. The street outside was empty, shrouded in an eerie stillness. No branches scraped against the glass, no pebbles bounced off the pane. The world outside was silent. Confused, I let the curtain fall back into place and turned to face my room. That's when I noticed the mirror in the corner. It was an antique, a relic I'd found at a flea market months ago, and it added a touch of old-world charm to my otherwise modern space. But now, in the faint light, it seemed out of place, almost menacing. The tapping sound grew louder as I approached it, my heart nearly stopped. I stood before the mirror, staring at my reflection. My face was pale, my eyes wide with fear. The tapping was deafening now, as if something was on the other side of the glass, desperate to get out. I reached out with a trembling hand and touched the mirror's surface. It was cold, colder than it should have been. I felt a jolt of electricity run through me, and I yanked my hand back, my fingers tingling. Then, the tapping stopped. For a moment, there was only silence. I stared at the mirror, my breath coming in shallow gasps. Then, slowly, the reflection in the mirror began to change. My face warped and twisted, replaced by something dark and evil. Hollow eyes stared back at me, and a wicked smile spread across the reflection's face. Paralyzed with fear, I watched as the figure in the mirror raised a hand and tapped the glass from the inside. The sound echoed out through the room, sending shivers down my spine. I wanted to run, to scream, but my body wouldn't obey. The figure leaned closer, its hollow eyes boring into mine. It raised a finger to its lips as if to shush me, and then it spoke. The voice was a whisper, barely audible, but it sent chills through me. "Let me out," it hissed. I stumbled back, tripping over my own feet and falling to the floor. The mirror loomed above me, the figure pressing against the glass, its hands splayed out as if it was trying to break through. The tapping resumed, frantic and urgent. With a surge of adrenaline, I scrambled to my feet and ran to the door, fumbling with the handle in my panic. I burst out of my room and slammed the door behind me, my heart racing. The tapping continued, muffled now, but still persistent. I spent the rest of the night in the living room. When morning came, I cautiously crept back to the bedroom, expecting to find the mirror shattered, the figure gone. But it was just a mirror, reflecting nothing more than my own haggard face. Yet as I stood there, I could have sworn I heard a faint whisper. "Let me out."